So on our way coming, aliita huyo madam akamuita Mama Mwangi. Unajua anaweza ua. So I literally followed her to that man's house. And when I got there, it was a very nice apartment.
Hello guys, this is Mr. A Lot More, your senior Udaku reporter. And of course, A Lot More is coming. Maeneo ni ya Kenya National Theatre mtu wangu. Niko hapa kupiga story na jamaa ambaye story yake ni a bit interesting because you guys keep on talking about gender-based violence. Do men ever get justice out there? That is the conversation we are having today, kwa sababu a lot has been happening pale kwenye mtandao. Anytime mwanaume amejipata pabaya, it's time for you guys to celebrate. Anytime a woman finds her in a mess, it's time kusema mwanamke huyo sijui nini. Now let's have this conversation. Najua mtanipiga mawe, but let's do it regardless. With me here is Sam. Sam is a good friend of mine. Tumefanya kazi na yeye before na sasa nimemwalika hapa aje tupige story, tujue mambo iko namna gani, kisha tuendelee na kazi kama kawaida mtu wangu. And of course guys, this episode is proudly sponsored by Brotherhood Furnitures mtu wangu. Tuko pale Ruiru na tuko na vitanda mzuri, tuko na sofas the best quality, the best that you ever need. We customize according to your preference na tuna make sure our customer satisfaction iko juu kabisa. Kumbuka our motto ama our tagline is quality and affordability. Sam yuko hapa. Sam unasemaje?
Na mimi niko fiti.
Nimekuwa nikitaka kuhost for some time by the way.
Okay.
So I think God ndo siku alipanga, si ndio?
Sure. Na tunashukuru. Yes.
Umeniletea nini?
Salamu nyingi.
Kutoka Ukambani.
Na maembe.
Maembe uko nazo kwa gari?
Nitakupea tu.
Yes. Cameraman acha kuniangalia hivyo. After hii show mimi tuongeleshani. Kila mtu anaenda kwenye alitoka. Salimia wa Kenya.
Jambo wa Kenya. I'm very happy. I'm honored to be here and appreciate Nicholas what you are doing for covering such stories, because it's not an easy thing to do or even to get people coming out to talk about gender-based violence. Yes.
Amazing sana. Ningependa you introduce yourself to ama ushajiintroduce bado. Nimekwambia tu salimia wa Kenya.
Sure.
Sijui kwa nini niko na over excitement kwa hii interview, but mtanielewa. Maybe mood will change later, I don't know. Let's do this. So look at that camera Sam, introduce yourself, tuambie unaitwa nani, unatokea wapi, pengine unafanya nini, alafu sasa tuingie to dive in kwa story.
Okay. So my name is Samuel Mbithi and I'm born in Makueni County, a place known as Kibwezi. One of the interior places now from Kibwezi known as Changinyo. That is where I come from, born and raised there. I'm a marketer by profession and I focus into product, not service per se, but also product and service. Sometimes they are together that we can actually push them together. Yes.
Amazing sana. Sama nikikutafuta, I saw your story somewhere. You personally have told me the story, so niko na knowledge kidogo na story yako. But nikakuwa interested, you come here so to get kusikia story, what happened, how it happened, when it happened, where it happened. I mean, we just answer the 5 W's and the H. Tujue how to tackle this story. Please, tuambie story yako inaanzia wapi alafu za tuendelee.
Yes. I've told this story over and over several times, but to be honest, it was not an easy thing to start talking about it or advocating about it. Why? Because of some myths, stigma, self-esteem issues, and I'm looking at it in a way that how will people take it out there? But one day I got the courage from my beautiful wife that I needed to talk about the story. And from that moment when I started talking about the story, I started healing. I started feeling better. I started getting help in terms of psychological support and getting other survivors actually coming to talk about the story. So back in 2012, that is when the incidents happened. I came to Nairobi at around 2011 and then nikaanza tu kibarua kama mwanaume tu wa kawaida. That
in 2011 you were in Nairobi?
Yes, I was already working.
I was in class 8.
I'm old, eh? So I
No, that doesn't make you old. Unakaa Gen Z.
sure. So I was hustling in Nairobi, doing just manual jobs. My first job in Nairobi was actually a security guard, and I started living my life from that point, because there's that independence that mwanaume huhitaji at some point. And I met this beautiful girl by then, and nilimjua through a friend, and then we started having an affair, and the affair translated to something that itakuwa serious in future. And during that period of dating, kuna zile signs unaonanga but you are not able to actually pin down whether they are red flags, because you straight from high school, you have not interacted with anyone who has been in a relationship, so you think you know it better. But actually, when you get out, you realize that things are totally different. My background is more of Christian, and I knew that, and I had told and promised myself that dem mwenye nitakutana naye wa kwanza, that will be my wife. Sitawahi change na sitawahi kuwa na vituko. And for your information, she was my first love. I had not dated anyone else. I had not literally done anything, being intimacy with anyone except her. That now rules out the fact that she was my first love. And during that period, I started changing jobs, because now, you see, responsibilities zimeanza kuongezeka. The salary that I'm getting there is not enough. I'm also trying to advance in a way that I can also help my siblings and also my parents back at home. So I got a job along Mombasa Road in a club as a bartender. And I used to commute a lot in terms of nilikuwa naishi Pipeline. So moving from Pipeline, going all the way to Syokimau, and sometimes niko night shift, it was risky and it was a little bit expensive for me, bearing in mind the little money that I'm getting. So I decided to move to Syokimau. But before that, we had a lot of issues while I was still living within the Pipeline area. She had another boyfriend, and not one, not two, not three, not four.
But how many?
The ones I can recall I have ever tried to actually understand what is happening are three. To the point now, it irritated her to a point of naingililia maisha yake sana. But I'm part of that list of the boyfriends. But there was this specific guy who could call, text any time, and she was very comfortable picking up those calls. She was very comfortable even giving out some very, very sensitive information. She's willing to be with that person, but according to me, nazichukulia ni kama jokes. We didn't have two phones. She used to use my phone most of the times. And when nikitoka kazi, she could now get my phone and apigia friends wake. Sometimes she's calling, I think, a mom or aunties or whoever. I don't know. And then one day nikiwa kazi, that is now before I had moved to Syokimau. One day nikiwa kazi, this guy calls. And I picked the call. It was a new number because it's not saved, but it is a unique number that I normally see. You know, there are numbers that you've not saved, but when they call, you know, ni fulani anapiga simu. You've memorized them. So it was a very unique number. And when I picked it, was that guy. And then he was like, oh, where is so and so? Nikamwambia mi niko kazi, ako kwa nyumba. When I get back home, I'll definitely give them the phone. Then you can have a discussion. Then he's like, you know, nataka kuoa huyo msichana. Then I'm like, okay.
He's telling you that?
Yes. And then I'm like, okay, maybe you have the wrong number or you have the wrong person. Come to think of it, I was not clever enough to connect dots easily. You know, sometimes when you fall in love, you become naive. You become kind of stupid in a way that kuna vitu zinakuwa blinded. You can't clearly.
They say love is blind.
Of course, it blinded me. So he told me that, are you not Sam? I told him, yeah, I am Sam. Wesi ni cousin ya fulani? Nikamwambia, no, that chick is not my cousin. We are actually dating, literally dating. He's like, no. Aliniambia wewe ni cousin yake and you are hosting her for some period, then she goes back to school. And I'm like, apana, this conversation is not making sense.
How old were you by then?
I was 20 years old.
And her?
She was 20 also. So after that conversation, I felt a little bit disturbed. I felt like calling and I confront the guy, but I told myself, no, let me get home and get to the bottom of this story. So after my shift, I went home. Nikamwelezea what transpired during the day and she's like, huyu wachana na yeye anaongeanga hivyo. You see, me I'm like, okay, maybe you guys joke, but sahi imeanza kunihit hard. And then neighbors were actually telling me, whenever I leave, there's someone who comes to my house. But I never took it serious. I'm like, nyinyi hamtaki mapenzi yetu iendelee, you know, you feel
Mko na wivu.
mko na wivu. You know, I'm not seeing all these red flags. And she denied completely. Until one day I decided now I will have actually to follow through and nielewe what happens here. So I pretended to have gone to work because now I started connecting to small dots. There is this call about someone wanting to marry my girl. There is this story about my neighbors telling me there's someone who comes to your house. There's this story that sometimes she's picked even na naenda. So now it is starting to make a little bit sense. So I decided to follow her. Nikajifanya nimeenda kazi. She believed nimeenda kazi. And then
Ulijificha wapi?
niliteremka vile because I used to live at a single room in Pipeline, 3rd floor. So nilienda ground floor. There's a shop that I normally used to buy stuff from. So the owner could allow me niingie kwa shop yake ndani. Ni zile shop unapata hadi nyuma ndio iko na nyumba yake. So I pretended to be there, nikamwambia ukiona fulani anapita nishtue. So it looked like it's a prank. Yeye kujua what I'm doing. But me, I knew what I was doing. So immediately she left. Alitoka kwa gate. Actually, it didn't take more than 10 minutes. Pia akatoka. Ndo huyo akatoka nje ya gate. I followed her through. Nyuma polepole without telling her. Napiga kona, napiga. Najificha, naona vizuri ameenda. I literally followed her to that man's house. And when I got there, it was a very nice apartment and there was a lot of security. So you could not access without the owner of the house allowing you to get inside. So she was allowed because she's known.
She's used to going there.
She's used to going there. So nikajiuliza pale nikiulizwa nitasema aje. I got the courage and told the security guard that niko na huyo madam ameingia tunaenda kwa nyumba moja. Like, okay, sawa. I think God opened to a door there. Ndio nione everything now ikuje vizuri in plain. And then nikamfuata tukaingia. Nikaona nyumba ameingia, nikafinya bell. Shock of my life. She's the one opening the door. Like now, I can clearly now start confirming some of these things. She's the one who opened the door and comfortably went back and sat down kwa kiti. And I asked myself like, sasa, what if something bad happens here?
Uliingia?
Yes, niliingia. And I told the guy, this is my girl. The guy introduced himself na akaniambia, by the way, me I'm married. Mi hata sijui hizi drama zenu mnaniletea hapa ni za nini. It's your girl who wants me, not the other way around. But I'm willing to marry her as a second wife. And I'm like, no, boss, this is my girl. I remember literally begging him to leave the girl for me. So I got the courage. I moved out of the house. Nikarudi. I can't remember how I got back to my house. I called a friend of mine. Akakuja nikamwelezea story and he was like, you are way above this drama. You are very young. Kuna wasichana wengi sana. You need to move on. Hata kama inakuuma aje, you need to move on. Now that's when I decided now I'll have to move closer to where I work. I told her that I'm moving because it is still hurting and I still believe she's my girl. Na nikahama. But it took some months before yeye akubali kukuja to the new house yenye nilihamia. Now nilihamia nyumba ya mabati. Because that is what was available at that time. But I told myself, I can always begin from somewhere. Now, she called me at some point and then she was like, nataka kukutembelea place ulihamia and then we can make things turudiane. Then I was like, it's okay, you come. Compare directions. She came. We had a discussion, tukaongea. You know, there's how you have a discussion and you feel everything now imeisha, those dramas will not happen again. Someone is apologizing, but actually they're apologizing. It's just a bait. It's only that the other people are not coming through. Now it is only you who can come through for them. And nika agree. We stayed together for some few weeks and then the same dramas started again. I remember the last night when now I was fed up with all this drama. I told her we have to part ways. Akasema hapana, hatuwezi achana, sijui ni nini. So we argued for like a night, the whole night. Ile hakuna kusikizana. And then I told her, you will spend the night here, but kesho asubuhi tafadhali, before niende kazi, you just leave my house na usiwahi fanya nini, usiwahi rudi, usiwahi niongelesha, usiwahi ni call, you just move on with your life. Mimi I'm tired. Those are the days when HIV was actually very, very like serious. I don't think nowadays, na kukua watu wakuwa na kunywa madawa. And then I had put myself in that image now ya kuanza kumeza dawa. No, umekonda, you came to Nairobi, I'm the firstborn in a family of 4 and everyone is looking up to you. And then this is what you get back home. So tukakuwa na hizo issues. So when it came to the next day, it was on a Wednesday. Now you see the new place nilikuwa nimehamia, I had already started creating a few friends. So I knew my neighbors kidogo, mama fulani, baba fulani, mtoto fulani. I knew the owner of the shop that is there. You know, so I had a little bit of some friends within that area because I had stayed there for like 4 months. So the next day, which was on a Wednesday, on 17th of 2012.
Which month?
That was in October. Asubuhi nikaamka, I prepared myself to go to work. She prepared herself so that she can leave. Na akaniambia yeye hana fare na hajui hata ataenda wapi. Nikamwambia, you have a good guy who is willing to marry you. You can go kwake, mwanze life na yeye, or else he will also support you. Uende shule, or whichever, you guys will figure it out. I don't want to get involved.
At this point, you don't care.
At that point, I don't care now. I think I had gotten to a point where by now, whatever happens will happen, and then life has to go on. But still, she was kind of hesitant in a way that siuache tu nikaekaya will go, sijui, you know, creating a lot of issues and barriers. Sometimes I used to get tips from the club that I used to work. M-Pesa was not a common thing those days. It was not basic like today, like everyone is on mobile money. So I had M-Pesa, but my M-Pesa had no money. But I had money in cash. I gave her 2,000 shillings and told her, I think this is enough for you even to go back home. And then you'll figure it out from your parents' place on the next step that you're going to take. And then she took the money. I used to cook with a stove. It's a habit I was shown by my dad. My dad is a civil servant. And then from the interior point, unapata shopping inafanyangwa once in a month. So he used to buy paraffin in bulk, ananunua ile 5 liters. So tunaitumia for that period. So I had adopted some of those habits. So I could buy things in bulk. So mafuta ya taa ilikuwa, but ilikuwa imebaki kidogo kwa kibuyu ya ka 5 liter. But juu imebaki kidogo, niliitoa nikaeka kwa chupa ya soda, a 500 ml bottle. So that itakuwa rahisi kuiweka kwa stove. So that morning after preparing myself, nilijiambia let me make some breakfast ya haraka haraka, then nikimbie job. Then I felt that she's dragging me a lot. I had to call my supervisor. Nikamwambia nitachelewa kidogo. Aliniruhusu niingie kazi between 12 and 2 nikuwe nimeingia. Na nikamwambia ni sawa. So amepack kila kitu, everything is ready, she has taken the money. So in the process, mimi nikitaka ku make the breakfast, there was no matchbox in the house. So she aliamua kutumia the 2,000 shillings. Aende nayo kwa duka. It was imeshikana, I mean 1,000 and 1,000. It was not broken into loose money. So she went to the shop, matchbox by then was going at around 3 shillings. Kufika kwa shop cause ajulikani, alimwambia hatuwezi break 1,000 bob because of 3 shillings. 2, mimi sikujui. So siwezi kupea kwa deni. Mimi ningeenda nipewe nilipe later. So she came back. Juu alikuwa ameanza kujiona pia na my next door neighbor. Alimuomba matchbox. Akampea, of course, ni jirani. Si anataka kupika something or whatever they want to do with it. Now, during that process, I am not sensing any danger or something is going to happen. So, nilikuwa nalala chini kwa mattress. And nile time unakuanga like I'm waiting huyu atoke aende, so nimelala nikiwa flat. Hii miguu iko kwa floor, but hii body iko kwa mattress. And then there's a curtain here, and then nguo nilikuanga naeka around, tuna, you know, nyumba ka single, nagongelea tu misumari una hang all round. So on our way coming, aliita huyo madam, akamuita Mama Mwangi. Unajua anaweza ua. So I overheard that, but it did not hit me to a point of it's a risk. It is something, it is danger. It is something that is going to happen. So I took it as a joke. Even the lady took it as a joke. That is my neighbor. So my neighbor was like, hey, kweli wewe unaweza ua? I don't see wewe ukiwa na hiyo roho. So it happened to be, there was a time nilinunua kuku akiwa hai, and then we were joking around hapo nikimwambia si uchinje, and then she ran away. So akaambiwa hata kuku unashindangwa kuchinja, what about kuua mtu? So as that conversation is happening, she's already coming kwa nyumba. Immediately alifika kwa nyumba, mafuta ya taa iliwekwa kwa kikombe, nikamwagiliwa. So the moment alikuwa alinimwagilia mafuta, iliingia kwa macho, and it was very very irritating. So haikuni hit that there is a second thing that is going to happen. So mimi nilitupa tu mkono nikashika kitawel kilikuwa hapo nijipanguze macho, so that I can at least understand what is that. But now in that process, that is when alipata time ya kuwasha ile matchbox na akarusha. Already the mattress imeloa mafuta ya taa, mimi mwenyewe the whole body imeloa mafuta ya taa. So now I'm struggling with fire, najaribu kupiga nduru. My mind has not yet settled on what exactly is happening. I'm burning, sijui nani amenichoma is at that time. So nikajaribu kutoka nje, nikipiga nduru. There were ladies who were there, wakaanza kupiga nduru. Udem na yeye akaanza ile reverse psychology, akapiga nduru ikae ni mimi na mchoma. So you see the people who came as first respondents were not sure what is happening, because the lady is also running akipiga nduru. Then that is when my neighbor ilimhuit ile matchbox niliombwa, and then alisema yule amechoma huyu, kimbieni mumshi. So they ran after her, mimi nikabaki kwa nyumba nikijaribu kujizima. There's a place we used to put maji ya kumwaga kwa washroom after using washroom. That is the water I used kujizima. And from that moment, akashikwa. The only contact I could remember was my cousin's contact. She was contacted ndio akuja at least nikipelekwa hospitali. And then we passed through Mlolongo police station with the same lady, tulibebwa with the same car. And then mimi nikapelekwa hospitali Shalom. Now from there, I don't remember what happened even after admission. The only thing I remember is just waking up. My mom was there. She's crying. My dad is there. I can see a few friends there, and I'm like, guys, what is going on? You know? And nikakaa hospitali for like 2 months. Sayo tuliacha msichana wapi? Mlolongo police station. These guys...
So you stayed kwa hapo Shalom for 2 months?
Yes, for 2 months. From that date, 17th. Now, my dad was following up on that matter while mi niko hospitali. So the investigating officer used to come, hosi kuniona. And then he was insisting that I write on what happened. But nikamwambia I can't. And even the doctors told him that I can't write because my palms were burned. They were wounds. And they were insisting, but they did a recorder. And they wanted to use it kotini ya kudetain huyu msichana. Unfortunately, before hata nitoke hospitali msichana alikuwa aliachiliwa. Na kesi ikatu. In the name of there is no evidence. Yeah, that's what happened. Now from there, I told myself I first focus on healing, which was not an easy thing.
Wait kidogo Sam. This lady burns you, anakuacha unachomeka, she runs away, then anashikwa, you guys are taken, you are taken to the hospital, she's taken to the police station, then hata before utoke hospitali ashaachiliwa.
Exactly. They claimed that one, they started to have different narratives. I don't know, yeye alicollude na the police there, ama ni wazazi, or it's the other guy who colluded with the police. I don't know. Up to date, I've never known. But there were 3 statements that she made. That one, she's the one who wanted to leave me. And I felt the pain, na nikamwambia na wewe nita make sure utashikwa. So nikajichoma. The second statement was, nilikuwa na prepare breakfast na stove ikalipuka nikachomeka. Third claim was life had become too difficult for us and that tuliamua tujitoe uhai. But when you look at her, she has no single burn in her body, even if those claims were to be valid as at that time.
Even if the third claim was to be correct, inadanganya kwanza hiyo inadanganya sana.
Yes. And then my family, myself, my friends were asking themselves a lot of questions like, this is not the kind of a person we know, especially from me. I never had anger issues, na interacting na wao vizuri. Such things have never happened. And then it was really, really a bad scene because justice has been denied. I'm hospitalized, I'm battling my life.
Just a minute, Sam. Nataka turudi nyuma kidogo tena. Mbona udemu ameachiliwa? After wewe ulienda kuuliza, maybe after ulipata nafuu sasa, yes. You are now released from the hospital, you can walk, you can literally go to the police. After did you ask them?
You see, that time at 20 years old, there is a lot of information that those days you couldn't have. So when I went to the police station, the first thing I was supposed to do is to record a fresh statement of what happened, which I did. I recorded another OB of that story. After reporting, I asked them the whereabouts of this lady. And then they told me, alitolewa. Alitolewa na nani? Alipelekwa Mavoko Locals, kesi kasomwa, there was no complainant, there were no witnesses.
But the complainant is fighting for his life, hospitali.
Exactly. The complainant is not there. There are no witnesses. There is no evidence that there is someone mwenye alichomo. And then I couldn't push back like what I know right now. I traveled back home, Nicholas, because I had no option. I had no one to support me go through that process of justice. And I didn't know that I can even go to the court and actually request for the paperwork. So nika focus na maneno ya healing, nika focus na maneno ya surgeries because I developed a lot of keloids and contractures. So far nimefanyiwa 14 surgeries to get my neck to be at least moving and also the arms because nilipona zikiwa zimeshikana.
Are you able to show them kwenye uliumia?
Yeah, sure.
Please.
Yeah.
From the moment our eyes first met, a bond was formed, a love set. In your smile, I found my home.
So, and even if you go on my social pages, you'll see every evidence of how I actually look. So the chest is fully burnt up to here. The arms also burnt all up to here. This one also the same. And then the neck all the way mpaka hapa. So nilipona shingo ikiwa imeshikana hivi because also burns management is a very critical thing. So if it's done poorly, utapona na skin ikiwa imejivuta ama you will start to develop contractures and keloids. So that is what I got, the contractures a lot. So you'd find that I can move but I cannot turn my joints. So I have to turn the whole body ndio niweze kumove vizuri kama nataka kuzunguka. If I want to lift something, I lift it in a way that you can see I'm in pain or I'm not flexible. So we did skin graftings. So they started harvesting tissues and skin from my stomach, from my legs, all over my body parts, so that we can at least repair. So in 2014, that is after my fourth surgery. In 2014, I overheard a story on one of the media stations, a radio station actually. And to be honest, it pushes the agenda of women a lot. That one everyone knows. I'm not being biased, but that is the reality. And when the conversation was ongoing, someone made a call, and it really became like a topic of discussion. And I was so much invested in that discussion. And the discussion, I remember I was mentioned, including where I work. I had at least another friend had connected me to another better job. So by that time, I was now working and living in Kericho. And then, you know, you can hear a story and you relate to it so quick, and you're like, no, I know that person. After the discussion ended, I got a call from an organization in Ajitanga Fida that they need to sue me for child support. I don't know for it. I'm like, sina mtoto mahali. I've not messed myself. I know myself, what is going on. And then they narrated the story, and then they started threatening me. Hey, you will be arrested. I don't know, we will send barua kwa employer wako, mshahara ikatwe and all that. Then I was like, no, I clearly don't get what is happening here, but now the story makes sense to me. So I went to my boss and nikamwexplainia. Uzuri, I was honest when I was getting employed. So they knew the story of how I got banned. Nikamwelezea, akaniambia, chukua leave, go sort out that matter. Because right now you are not in your right mind to even work. First, go sort out that issue. We are here to support you. So I took leave. And then there's a client I used to serve. And she was a resident magistrate, Kericho Rockets. So nikajiambia, because I don't know any matters of law and I don't have a lawyer friend, maybe I can make use of her. So I made a call to her. And she told me, nikambrief haraka haraka. Akaniambia, if I give you 5 minutes ufike, because there's a matter I'm going to attend to, can you make it to the courtroom? Can you make it to my chamber? Nikamwambia, si unajua siwezi kukuaccess. Your bodyguards won't allow me. The security won't allow me to come to the chamber. She told me, there's a number I'm sending you. Pigie mtu atakuleta kwa chamber direct. So I went there, I narrated the story to her and everything. And now she helped me draft 3 letters. One letter ilikuwa iende kwa the office of Director of Public Prosecution, demanding tupatiwe proceedings plus the court file. The second one was also proceeding, ilikuwa imetumwa Mavoko Law Courts. The third one ilikuwa imetumwa Mlolongo. We get a copy of that OB, and then the IO na investigations zake mahali alifikisha. So I traveled, came to Nairobi, I delivered those letters, all of them, and then I went back. After like, I think 5 days, nikapigiwa from the office of Director of Public Prosecution in Machakos. They told me, your letter is ready. All the documents you requested are ready. Nikamwambia, I cannot travel, niko Machakos kukuja hizo documents. Can you send them via courier? I will pay. Or you open, scan them, you email me or you WhatsApp me. They told me no. You have to physically come pick, kuna mahali unafaa kusign. Then I told myself, okay, ni sawa. Nikakuja tena, I took these letters. I passed through Mavoko, nothing was there. I went to Mlolongo police station. Actually, the police officers kinda were bullying me when I'm telling them the story. And then they're like, unajua huwezi pigana na vitu zingine, we acha hii maneno. And then I'm like, it's okay. So I left, I went back to Kericho, took the letters to the magistrate. She interpreted it to me and everything. And then we wrote another letter to FIDA. The claims were all fake and they were all wrong. It's just someone wanted to tarnish my name. And then I told myself, and I was asking myself a lot of questions, why should it come at this point when now my life has changed? I'm living a different kind of a life. And then I became kind of prayerful at some point. And at the same time, I became an addict. Like, I don't know which path now to use because forces are coming from different.
Addict of.
Alcohol. Like, I had a place I could go, drink, I don't pay, they know where to get me, I will pay. They will give me alcohol. Nitakaa nipewe mzinga yangu nikunywe, they will even pay a boda to take me home. And then tomorrow they bring the receipt at work. I almost went to rehab. It was that bad. A lot of mental issue, you know, hatred towards women, like
All because of that incident.
all because of that incident. And then the trauma that I had not healed ikaanza sasa kunitorment as time goes on, kwa sikuwa nimejikubali vile niko. So time went on, continued with my surgeries, nothing much happened. And in between 2014 and 2017, I went through nine surgeries again.
In 5 years.
In 5 years. That is to reconstruct. I remember a certain year that I went through mbili zikifuatana. But now in 2023, all that period from 2012, I had not publicly told my story. I used to lie a lot to people to a point of it had become an habit. Like hata ukiniuliza, I don't feel anything. But now it came to a point whereby I realized I'm actually doing more damage to me. And that damage is going to cost my career. It is going to cost my mental health. It is going to cause a lot of trouble even to people who depend on me. Kwa sababu sijajikubali vile niko. Now in 2023, now another contracture developed on my neck. So it made movement too difficult again. Consulted different doctors, got quotations, and then now you have to look for finance. We chose an hospital. Hey, I wish we never did that. But we chose an hospital because of cost and because it was near home kwangu. And then the procedure they recommended to do, they wanted to do a skin grafting procedure. Remember, nimefanywa skin grafting mingi, but there has never been a positive result or the desired result that I wanted. Because movement had become very difficult. Unapata saa yote nimejikunja hivi. So even if you look at me, you see there's a problem, but I'm hiding that problem. So when we went to that hospital, I got booked. Nikaingizwa theater. My wife is there, of course. My friends are there. You know, they're cheering that, hey bro, it's gonna be all right. Nini nini. Tutakuwa hapo ukitoka. We will be here with you, don't worry. But now, kuingia theater, I met a different surgeon. And then the surgeon told me, I give him a brief of what happened. I narrated a brief. I told him the procedures. I checked on my file, whatever documentation I had brought from different hospitals. And then he was like, even if we do now a skin graft, it is not going to give us the desired result. So what we are going to do, I'm going to do a different type of a procedure, which is called, we are going to do what we call a free flap procedure, whereby we are going to harvest a full tissue from here. Na hatutai disconnect from its veins. Then we rotate it, tuiweke wapi? Hapa. So they create a wound, wairotate, alafu ishonelewe hapa. And then I told him, it is your industry, you know it better. If that is going to make my movement easy, then well, let's do it. Now after we did the procedure, it took around 6 hours. After 6 hours, nimepelekwa recovery. I'm in a lot of pain. The pain that even painkillers nilikuwa napewa, they were not even working is at that time. I'm literally in a lot of pain and I cannot tell where the pain is coming from. So my mind has not yet accepted that nimetoka theater. Kuna places mingi nimekatwa. So these guys wako na lift kwa hospitali. Their theater is on the ground floor. But they are telling me lift hiyo imeharibika. So I have to walk the stairs. Niende wapi? Kwa ward first floor.
Umetoka theater.
Nimetoka theater. That's like an hour after. An hour or 2 hours after theater. Of course nikajikaza, nimeshikiliwa hapo na friends, nini, we got there. Nikalala kwa bed. Nurses came, they did their vitals, nikapewa dawa nafaa kupewa, antibiotics and all that. Then I told my wife, because it's been a long day for you guys, sahi niko safe. Niko sa, you guys go home. Then si mtakuja tu kesho mtanipata hapa, there is nowhere I'm going. So my friends were like, no, hatukuache. I insisted. I told them no, endeni. Including my wife. Ngambia hapana, enda home. They finally accepted. Walikuwa wanatoka hapo around 1 or 2 a.m. And they went home. Now, after they left, sina mutu sasa wa kuniinua. I was alone in that ward. There's a bell that I can ring, but it got to a point whereby nilianza kubleed. So na feel niko in a pool, a place that is very, very cold. I've set a signal from my brain, iambie mkono finya bell. But the signal imetoka, but mkono yezi enda. I'm numb completely. So the next day in the morning, my wife found me in that situation. It was a very bad situation. So nobody had come the whole night to check on me. Na akazusha sana. And then we had now to get the doctors to come, waangalie nini nini. They did another mistake. Now they started stitching veins. Instead of allowing veins to blood to flow, the ones that were already zilikuwa zimeconnectiwa from this side, one had started to have a backflow. So there's a way ni kama walikata and then they decided kuifunga tena. Now I started having backflows ya blood. Nikaanza kukua pale. It's like I'm purple, nimefura. And then I knew now I'm going to die. Because vitu kama hizo, they don't just happen and then someone survives. It's not easy. Then we started calling the surgeon. Akasema he's not around, but he's going to send help. Walishindwa kucontrol my blood flow from almost 6 in the morning to around 1 p.m. Bado doctors are running up and down doing nothing. One lady doctor came who was sent by my surgeon. She corrected that mistake within 5 minutes. And now I started to behave like a normal person.
After wengine wameshinda within 7 hours.
Yes. She did it within 5 minutes. I could see she was arguing with them. You know, every industry has their own terminologies that they use that most people will not understand. But I could sense she's quarreling them because of that. But ni vile hezi niambia directly kuna mistake ilifa. So they tried to cover it up. And then my surgeon was like, get discharged from that hospital immediately. And then now I went to his private clinic. Now, we went, got cleaned, started another process of medication. You know, it's a long, long process. Now, juu ya ile backflow, na ile damu mingi nililose. One of the part ya flap yenye ilikuwa imetwistiwa ikaletwa hapa died. So one part ikapik, but ikakosa kutupatia a flat surface that we wanted. Ikapik na ikafura. The other one ikakufa na ikadak. So it's a dead tissue. Meaning lazima tutoe. But hatuwezi toa hiyo peke yake. We have to remove the whole thing again. We start afresh. That is another money. That procedure ya kwanza we had spent almost 400,000. The second one we are supposed to do 600,000. So it's going back again. You look for money, come back to the hospital. And it was a critical moment because the wound is exposed, so the rate of infection is very high. Going to the clinic to get the wound cleaned per day, it's between 5,000 and 7,000 shillings. Na kuna dawa hujatumia, kuna logistics, kuna chakula unafaa kutumia, you know, kuna supplements you're supposed to use. So you have to fasten the process of now getting the financing. We had to close down our shop. We sold it. We literally sold it at a throwaway price tupate pesa ya kwenda hospitali. That procedure was done. Now, after it was done, because it was more of a debridement and cleaning up, and now tuache your wound for a few weeks and then we do another procedure. Now, the last procedure is what now was very delicate. which was done in October of 2023. So October alone nilifanywa procedure 3. So the third one is the one that was done in now October. So in October we met another, that surgeon recommended us to his senior, but they work together in that hospital. Because he told us, now the procedure that we are going to do next, I am not the best person to do it, but this is the guy. And then he took us through the process because it was a very delicate procedure. It involves harvesting a full muscle, not now a tissue. Tunabeba muscle moja yako ya mguu, tunaiweka hapo. It's a procedure that was scheduled to take around 8 hours. The procedure took almost 14 hours, Nicholas. Uko theater, your people out there, they don't know what is going on. They don't know whether you will make it. And that time, imebeba hadi they carry what you call the arteries. And then they are brought, zinafanyiwa matching, na unaanza kushonwa using the microscopes. It took around 14 hours. Ward position ya kulala changes for at least 72 hours. You being checked every almost 20 minutes. You have someone checking up on you. And it gave us at least what you can now see here. Iko hapa. So that has been my medical journey all through up to 2023. Now in 2023 is when now I started advocacy about men. Because I felt that a lot of men are going through a lot in terms of GBV, mental health. No one is listening to them because of stigma, because of society myths that men should handle their mess. You should not go out, you should not cry. Ufai kwenda huku nje tu ukisema ati ulifanyiwa, because I had experienced all that through the process. I felt that let me start advocating about men coming out and speaking out about their issues, their marital issue, relationships, and anything that involves a man to be mentally sound. And that's how now my journey has been, Nicholas. Yes.
Pole sana kwa yote yaliyotendeka, but I want to take you back to the Kericho magistrate. After umempelekea zile makaratasi, alikuwa analezea akakwambia nini imeandikwa hapo?
So I was supposed to do some letters to the office of Obondsman Obondsman Kotini, another one to the Judicial Service Commission, and another one I was supposed to do to what department? Yes, DPP. I never did those letters because I still had not internalized everything. You see, when the issue of FIDA and all that other shenanigan was coming in through, unajua kuna ile hype inakujanga, then all of a sudden vitu zinaanza zikichill. So I took it like things have come, nothing is going to happen. But still, I was denying myself justice. It is what now I want to do actually. I want to write to those officers so that I can at least understand what happened in between.
Did you find out who was behind everything? Nani walikuwa wanasema kwa na mtoto wako?
Now from the call ya FIDA, they were clear it was that lady. Now
the same lady who burnt you.
The same lady who burnt me. Now I don't know whether there was a kid involved or not. Okay? Those were claims, those were allegations. Because part of what we wanted to be done with the magistrate was a DNA is mandatory now, so that we know how to address this issue. Because already there is an infidelity issue that has come through. So you cannot subject me into something or into payments or into responsibilities that are not directly connected to me. But you see, when now that discussion started, I never contacted the lady. Sikuwa hata na namba yake. Lakini in 2023, she contacted me on my Facebook Messenger. I normally don't check my message.
Akisema nini?
She wrote a message like, hi. And then I was at my cousin's place. Mwenye amekuwa akinisaidia through the journey of counseling, therapy and all that. And then nikamwambia kuna message imetumwa hapa, I don't know whether to respond or not. Akaniuliza, I'm very confident na huyo kazini yangu. Akaniuliza inakaa aje. Nikamwambia ndio hii. Akaniambia usinule msichana alikuchoma. Go ahead and respond to that message. It is part of your healing. And then I was like, hi. She's like, uko aje? Nikamwambia niko poa. She's like, I miss you. That hit me so hard to a point it took me back in 2012. Like ilinirudisha nyuma sana, even mentally and emotionally. It disturbed me vibaya sana. Then I was like, what do you miss in me? I wanted to know, what do you miss? And then she's like, you are not even ready to have a civil conversation with me. So I took photos zangu za theater, because there was someone who was documenting the whole process of the theater. I asked them for those photos and videos. I still have them. And I sent to her. And nikamuuliza, what do you miss here? This is me doing reconstructive surgery, at least to get my movement back. And she's like, you are not even ready to have a civil conversation with me. You can as well go ahead and block me. Nikamuuliza, did I even start the conversation? It is you who reached out to me. And that's how the conversation ended.
Do you have her contact?
I don't. She contacts me on social media. Juicy, she was spamming my TikTok also, writing, things that I don't understand, But I believe it is guilty that is now working. As much as I never got the justice that I wanted, I feel that there is a God, a supernatural God that we don't know, we don't see. He works his miracles in ways that we don't know. I believe that is what is working right now. Because a lot of people keep asking me, ukikutana na huyu dem utadu?
And let me ask you now the same question. Ukikutana, hata usikutana na umwone ndio ule pale.
The only way I can respond to that question is I don't know. Sometimes you are guided by emotions. Sometimes you are guided by feelings. Sometimes you are guided by you have your own policies, you have your own way of doing things. Personally, I don't know what I can do or tell her. I don't. I don't want to say that I will tell her you did something bad. I don't know what I can do. Yes.
Have you forgiven her?
Personally, yes. But when you forgive someone, let me not use the but I have to. When you forgive someone and they still come back to you with the same things, they want to hurt you again, then I don't think forgiveness is enough. As much as you've let it go, sometimes forgiveness is not enough. And nowadays, I don't think karma is instant. It's taking much of the time. But I'm not saying that there's something bad that I'm planning to do or whatever. No, it's been a whole, now this is the 14th year. It's been a whole 14th year and I've never had those thoughts. Personally, I had suicidal thoughts, but zilinitoka. Personally, I felt like if I meet her, I will, struggle her to death, and get my revenge. But I never feel that. Meaning I've gotten over it and I moved on with my life. Yes.
If she was spamming your TikTok account the other day, then it means she will watch this interview. I am definitely looking for you. Sina namba yako, but I wish I could meet you to just ask you whether you did ban him. Hivyo tu, mi nikamwona naweza tu muuliza alikuchoma. Nitamuuliza tu hivyo peke yake. Alafu then from there it's either atanijibu, ataniambia yes, ataniambia no, ataniambia yes, sijui ama anyamaze tu. But me what I can say, kitu najua na God, Mungu akupeangi mzigo uwezi beba. I think you are strong enough. You said you've done 14 surgeries.
Yeah, 14 surgeries.
And you are due for another surgery.
Due for another surgery. So we have another contracture that has developed here in the past 2 years. Another contracture that is running all the way through. You can see how it's behaving. So whenever I'm turning it, it pulls the skin all the way up to here. Same case to the other side. Then we're supposed to do what we call debulking of this area. It's like a liposuction procedure that itatoa hiyo mafuta ikuwe nini flat, and probably we might use hiyo mafuta to reconstruct the ants also, because you can also see there are a lot of keloids that have also developed on those areas. Yes.
Wow. You must be a strong man.
To be To be strong, I don't take it for granted. You also need to have what we call a good support team or circle that is always not telling you utakuwa poa. They are showing you the way kukua poa. They are there for you, not only financially, but also emotionally. Like you give someone a call, you like, hey, leo niko down, I feel I have a mental breakdown. Can we have a talk? You know, that has really helped me a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Having a partner who is also supportive and telling me, yes, post that what people hate and let them hate it. But imekuto, let them see that this is the reality when you are in a violent relationship. Let them see you are a living testimony of GBV and you are way above the GBV and you are way above or you are beyond the bans. And people will see and you're encouraging people so that they can also talk more. And then people will not see you as a sympathy seeker, but as a communicator of GBV and being against any type of violence.
Okay. I think sina anything else. It's so traumatizing. Imagine going, especially your part ya theater, umelala place hiyo damu ilikuwa imetoka kwa mwili yako.
Yes, it was leaking from this side because the veins zilikuwa zimepitishwa on this area. They were connected to that flap that was here. So one of the veins is the one that had a rupture. And then by the time they were repairing it, ilikuwa imeleak a lot of blood. I literally, ni kama nilikuwa nimepoteza a lot of pains. It's only that we never got that report clearly of what happened. What we wanted is we get treated, I get back on my foot, I move on with my life.
You said you thought utakufa.
I had seen death. And losing such much of blood, nimeanza kufura. At the back of my mind, I took it as complications after surgery. And most of the times, we've heard about such scenarios of mtu alitoka theater, akumaliza 1 hour and then they are gone. So you see, at that time, I'm battling a lot. Is it the same thing that is going to happen? Was there something that was done not procedurally? So what is going to happen? You know, familia yangu itabaki aje, my friends and all that. Then you're just thinking a lot, but there is no answer. I can't even talk as at that time. I'm too weak to even talk. So everything is just going through my mind. It is not coming out. Yes.
Pole sana. Is there any support you'd like our fans to offer you?
I would say yes. And the first support is not actually financial. The first support is to accept that men are going through a lot. And if you have a man in your house, whether your boyfriend, your husband, your son, you know, your friend, and they are not able to communicate to you what they are going through, then there is a problem and a communication gap. I believe the first person that you should be communicating to is the person who are close to, and especially the people we get intimate with. And if they are not in a position to help, you know, talking is very important. They can advise, but not fully advise. But you can advise and get advice from somewhere else, and you can seek that advice. That is the basic one. Number two, stories are GBV. They have become too common. I mentioned about being carried na emotions, you know, grudges, nataka revenge, ulinifanyia hivi, one day I will do. You know, all those are red flags. And one day they might materialize to something even worse than whatever I went through. We are seeing every day on the media what is happening. You know, it is not a good scene to see people butchering each other. It's not a good thing to see someone burning each other, irrespective of what you've done. But agreeing that this is not workable, kila mtu aende zake, it is very important and it will save a lot. You were not born to get back home in a coffin because of mapenzi. Nani kama imekataa, imekataa. It is always important to move on. You will meet another partner tomorrow, akupende vile huko. Si hata mimi napendwa sasa hivi vile niko. You know, and the other thing is the financial support. My family and I are struggling right now in terms of we've been planning for that procedure for the last 1.5 years. but we've not gotten to the financial level where it's supposed to be, because the procedure is costing around 800,000. I can't get 800,000 from just anywhere. We took loans, we are paying those loans. We still have a balance that I pay almost every month in that facility, pole pole balance ya ajali ya 2023. Thank God they accepted us to twende nyumbani with that balance. But now the other procedure is the one that is giving us a headache, and we're praying that it will be done in the same hospital. So we have a pay bill number that I've created. I also posted it on my socials, and the pay bill number is actually the KCB one 522-533, and the account number is 9999059. Please support us with the little that you have. At least we get something. I get my movement back.
Kuna watu wako nje, other countries, when you're outside Kenya, maybe they are not able to use the pay bill. Any phone number, any emails for PayPal?
I had created a PayPal, but it has a small issue. But I have a phone number. It is also on my bio on my TikTok. My phone number is 0700 000 955. 0700 000 955. You can directly contact me, and I'm happy that people are actually coming through so far, and we pray that God will open ways for people to be able to be supportive. Yes.
Pole sana Sam, and thank you so much for coming here to share your story, and I want to appreciate you for talking about GBV, and also appreciate you for accepting who you are and moving on with life, kwa sababu maisha lazima tu iendelee. You are loved. I've seen your wife.
Thank you.
So thank you so much guys for watching. Nimekuwa nikipiga story na Sam. Sam anaitwa Samuel Mbithi.
Yes, Samuel.
Mbithi is my name.
Your son is Samuel, right?
No, my son is Roman and Romy.
Who is Samuel in your family?
Sam,
It's Mbithi. It's the common name that we share. Okay.
they use my name.
Okay.
Yes, thank you so much guys for watching. Mambo ni mengi, muda ni mchache. If you want to share your story, call this number down here and tutakupea chance ukuje utupigie story. We help where we can na maisha iendelee. Bye bye.